Hello and welcome to Oracle Storytelling. Hi, I am Sarah of Sarah Wing Intuitive Arts. I do Oracle storytelling videos here. I do some videos showing my art as well. You can also find more of my art on my website at sarahwingintuitivearts.com, and you can find more content of both on my Instagram at the same name and Facebook. So, well, it is, we're on the cusp of the solstice right now. Where I live, it's the cusp of the winter solstice. So it is very snowy and damp and cold where I am. Don't know about where you are, but yeah, so this kind of transition point, right? It'll be the shortest day of the year tomorrow where I live, so the darkest day. And, you know, I think we're all living in a certain cloak of uncertainty, unsureness, consciously or unconsciously, or both, depending on what we're addressing in our personal, external, and internal lives. But yeah, so for today, since I feel like, yeah, who knows really what's happening? You know, I think we all have our instincts on that in various areas of our life. But I think in general, there's going to be more and more the sense of uncertainty. If you're a spiritual person, you might just think, well, these things are veiled. These are not yet known to me. They have not, I've not met them on my path yet. I have not had this aha moment. You know, however you want to phrase it, I think there's a lot that's lacking the type of clarity that we'd like to see and commit to. So I brought a couple decks today. I have the Goddess Tarot by Chris Walder. I have the Enchanted Tarot by Amy Zerner and Monte Farber. The Amoret Psyche Oracle by Georges Barbier and Rochelle Paul. And The Witch's Oracle by Barbara, nope, not going to pronounce that correctly, and Flavia Kate Peters. Here, these ladies right here. So since I'm kind of like, who knows what the hell's happening anymore, right? Like, I don't know. There's all these, so much shifting right now. So much shifting in the collective. And it's interesting, you know, I was listening to one person speak about just all these changes, and they were speaking about even if they could communicate what's happening, what they see happening, transpiring, manifesting right now in the collective consciousness, if that was shared with everybody, then that would then, in fact, of course, impact. It was kind of like expand in awareness and then impact the greater awareness of so many people, then something new would be birthed, which I thought was kind of interesting as I was kind of rambling about basically getting lack of clarity or wanting clarity, and this idea that even if somebody could explain and express exactly certain things that are unfolding now, then that would of course affect your awareness. And then that just affects everything else. So I do think in general, in terms of things lining up to make sense, alignment, whatever word you want to use, just having that timing, you know, that divine timing happen when all the levels and states of awareness line up, and you can essentially, for lack of a better term, like move forward. move forward with whatever. Move forward with thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas, concepts, things you're manifesting, whatever it may be. So yeah, who the hell knows what's happening? I'm not a turtleneck person. I was like, I'm going to put this on. It's really weird. Really weird to wear a turtleneck. And the sleeves are really long. And I'm saying this because I put this on and I was grabbing, grabbing these decks. And I was thinking about how I would watch more often than I do now. I used to watch all the time Oracle and Tarot reader channels. In particular, Charmed Intuition Tarot and Cherry Enchantress. And I always thought it was kind of funny if you watch these videos. Like, a lot of times you just see the hands, right? So I don't have like great nails, like some manicured, like awesome done nails. I usually see like pulled down like sleeves, or maybe like tattoos or henna, but usually like they have their nails did and they're nice, and I don't think they're ever their nails, but like, you ever notice like on those channels, I always notice that they had like these beautifully done nails. So I was like, well, I don't have like beautifully done nails, but I'll just put on a few more rings than usual. That's another thing, because if your camera is mostly just on your fingers, it's like, this is the show. These are the big guns. So I was like, well, to kind of honor that spirit, thinking about these women that they're still great. I just don't tend to watch them as much as I used to, just you start watching different subjects. But I was like, there you go, my little explanation and nod there. And I can't really call the name of the stone right now, but I know that it's a stone that makes me think of like deep psychic awareness, and I've definitely been feeling like I have to trust my instincts or find my awareness at a very deep level, coming off of like a pretty rough week where I felt like there was a stone just on my chest as I was on the bottom of the ocean floor. It's extremely unpleasant. But that's where I feel like I'm really trying to gain my footing, gain my awareness, see my surroundings, really at this deep, deep depth. And perhaps you are feeling that too. You are walking on those same quicksands as well. Maybe you're feeling just these deep, deep, deep watery energies of late. I don't know. So I thought it might be fun to just pull a card from the Witch's Kitchen. Take a little sip here. My lovely Center CBD drink. Love it. I like drinking CBD. I like using CBD oil. Pretty much works like magic for me. Ooh. I also feel kind of like 70s vibe here. And I love the card that came out is Rosemary. Kind of makes me think of that musical genre. So the word for rosemary is memories. Memories. Rosemary and memories. So I just kind of thought this would be like a nice little blessing card for our story today. Because we are playing today. We are telling a story. Insights that pop up are synchronistic and lovely. But let's just stay in that realm of curiosity, not quite sure what's going on, so let's play. Delve into the distant past, memories made, meant to last. I'll raise vibes from lethargy and purify your energy. This magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be. There it is done. I love when I can't think of how to pronounce a word, don't you? I love it. So interesting. So distant past, distant past. So we've got this lovely color here. We've got this nice purple color, and I'm wearing a lot of purple. So maybe this color in general is something that is presenting itself not just in this moment in time in my life or you watching this, but perhaps it's a color that you're coming into more communion with or having more of a remembrance about. You can look up and kind of Google what things that the color purple is connected to, and maybe something will come up from the distant past. Maybe you'll see it's related to a certain type of person, a certain type of presence, a certain type of emotion. Maybe you just Google kind of like purple and then do an image search, just purple. And maybe, you'll see some silly little stuffed animal and you'll be like, oh my God, I remember those from when I was a kid. Or, they always say purple with regal, right? Although there's so many varied shades of purple, these beautiful light shades of purple make me think, or in between this and that, makes me think of violets, and violets make me think of a lot of stuff from my childhood, actually. Maybe you have a connection to a purple flower that is really taking you back. So what I'm getting from this is it's not a negative thing. I don't feel like it's a remembrance for the sake of remembering to hope you forget. Okay? It's memories. It's memories you want to remember. So I just kind of encourage you to kind of like, I'm saying just Google it, or if you have a book on color that you like using, just kind of, open that up. Or if you like using books as divination, you could just like be flipping through a book and you could go like bigger than this, like a book, but you could just go like PURPLE and then read, trust your intuition when you're just thumbing through the pages, and then wherever you point to, and trust that wherever you land on is going to be something connected to the color purple for you. Why not? What do you got to lose? Grab a book. You got books. You got a magazine, whatever. Go try it. PURPLE, and then and read something. See if it conjures up a memory. See, kind of play with it. Just play. We are playing, remember? Remember. Remember. Memories. Remember. Remember. All right. So, memories. We'll see how this unfolds as we start with the Goddess Tarot. Let's see kind of where this story... Wow. Okay. Well, we are in a very cloaked time, like I said, consciously, unconsciously. We can kind of sense that there is a lack of clarity avail around us right now. Like I said, entering into personally the winter solstice. So it's going to be the shortest day of the year, meaning most cloaked. And the card we got is actually Chang'o, contemplation. Okay. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be the story of a Chinese goddess of the moon. Again, there is this sense of the unconscious when we think of the moon. Things that are not yet revealed to us. So things that we're just kind of sitting in this contemplation about, right? And again, the word curious comes to mind. So let's just say curious in this contemplation, because we can't have the sun reveal itself to us any faster just because we're like, come on, sun, just like we can't get the moon in the sky, have the moon see the moon in the sky any longer or shorter than we'd like it to. So in this space where we can't push in or out the veil, and we can't make the sun come up when we want it to come up for us. Staying in this space of contemplation, of curiosity. Let's see, Chang-O. Chang-O. Chang-O, the Chinese moon goddess. I thought so. I haven't used this deck in a long time, so it's kind of lovely. Chang-O, the Chinese moon goddess, was exiled to the moon because of her need to obtain divinity. With a white hare as her only companion, she spent much time alone contemplating life's mysteries, meanings, the need to go within to gain knowledge, to own one's divinity, withdrawal to better contemplate life. Interesting. So again, it's really, turning within, finding, I think a lot of the lack of clarity and the confusion that we're keep stumbling across, coming across, being thrown in the outside world is just going to force us to do this. You know, we have to turn inward towards our own divinity, our own sense of self, our own self-knowledge. You know, we have to go into our own internal library, our own safe haven internally. We have to turn to ourselves more. I think there's going to just be a lot of people who are spiritual naturally that are going to come back into these practices more evenly, like myself. I know that would evenly came up, but it did for someone. But yeah, I think this is going to be something that will happen to people that maybe don't necessarily trust their own instincts as much, and they're really outside knowledge seekers and haven't really had much experience with the joy of solitude, the joy of knowing yourself, the joy of looking inward. I just think there just has to be, I think, because of all the changes that we're going through. Naturally, I think this is just kind of a need for everybody that will just happen, again, naturally. But how interesting. You know, so she's banished. She was banished to the moon, but she's banished with a hare. And a hare is such beautiful, beautiful representation. You know, obviously we think of the hare as really like a birthing energy, fertility, spring. So it's interesting. It's kind of makes me think of like two sides of the coin, right? So we have like these seeds, we turn inward, we're planting these seeds, and we can't see the seeds. You know, you can't, I mean, you can kind of like till the soil. You probably know if you're planting your seeds in fertile or unfertile ground. Maybe not, but a good chance you probably do. But you can't see the seeds growing. There's no way to really watch them, right? But there is this act of like, okay, I'm planting this inward, looking inward, turning inward in whatever way. Maybe it is through some kind of spiritual practice. Maybe it is through sitting and doing yoga and just body connecting, right? You know, maybe there's a language to it. Again, maybe there is more just physical action to it. But at some point, you'll never see the seeds again, right? So whether they're dying or whether they're growing, when you do see them, they're transformed, right? There is this change. There's this change that occurs, and it is this fertility, this spring, this growth. And I think it's just another reminder that even though we're turning inward, right, and we're looking inward more, and we're seeking more of our own wisdom, which is very deep, which we have to mine sometimes, depending on what we need, what we're looking for. Sometimes it isn't just tapped right under the surface and we can scream it out. Sometimes it's layers deep in our wisdom. But when we do source that, it will grow. And naturally, the other side of that, we do see it manifest in our life, in our bodies. Yeah. There's something that does naturally happen. If we pull away from the external stuff that maybe burdens us, worries us, that we're chasing for a good or bad reason, it doesn't matter. That we can come back to that external view again, but it's so important, I think, more and more now, that we kind of get our own little internal GPS online, and not get too wrapped up in things in our lives that have kind of just turned into frustration loops, bullshit hunts, burnout, Okay. All right, so we're going in. Lovely. Let's remember. Let's do that little divinity book thing. Cool. Let's go inward. I want to say rockin'. I also normally don't wear purple. So I'm just like, we don't know what we're doing. I'm just going to do things a little differently. That's probably not a crazy thing to hear. Maybe you wear colors all the time. I don't know. Maybe there are some colors you never wear. Maybe you will wear a color you never wear. So, just shuffling these cards as I'm talking. And it's so interesting because I just mentioned the chasing of these external, I think I said external frustrations or bullshit chases. And I got the 7 of Gems, this gorgeous, gorgeous tangerine and sunny yellow color, these gems. And the word is frustration. In reverse. So I'm going to look at that. But it is really interesting because I think that's a pretty common thing, when you're working, looking inward in the vast, vast, vast myriad of ways you can do that, okay? Which is normally not one way your entire life. It usually shifts and changes. Let's see, Super Shell Suit of Wings. Suit of Gems, okay. Frustration. And the page number is 140 in case you want to kind of dig into that number. It's always nice to know numbers. Oh, and it's, 7 of Gems and the number is 140. And that's kind of interesting, right? Because 7 into 140, that's mathematically, kind of plays that perfectly. Alrighty, 140. Okay. So I'm going to read the reversed on this card. All right. And says, more hard work is needed before you see results. Frustration may get the better of you when you try to cope with feelings of impotence and ingratitude in your relationship. So this is all relationship stuff. This can be a relationship to anything, anyone, groups of people, one person in particular, yourself. First and foremost, it all comes back to you. So frustration may get the better of you when you try to cope with feelings of impotence and ingratitude in relationship. You may think you can accomplish enough with the resources you have. Confusion about responsibilities can cause problems. Promises may get broken. Money or work problems can put true love on hold for a while. Someone may have double standards. He or she can dish it out, but they can't take it. Be careful not to rush into an affair. A frustrating person you care about may get into an impractical or unrealistic romance. So, I think this is all really good advice. So, a lot of frustration, a lot of confusion. Astrologically, it's still pretty wild. If you do look at the general astrology, I would advise you to just watch a favorite astrologer. If you look at your natal chart and read into that, I would say if you do it every once in a while, maybe increase the time that you're checking it out if that gives you a sense of a little sense of direction or understanding, more likely. But we're still in this shadow period of Mercury retrograde, and there's a lot of and again, we're about to, at least where I am, going to like pretty much the darkest day of the year. So there's a lot of like hidden, cloaked confusion, this energy that I keep talking about. And so I think this is really important, that I think it's easy to feel impotent or ingratitude in your relationships right now. I think it's easy to feel like you can't accomplish enough with the resources you have in general, but especially more and more. Confusion about responsibilities can cause problems. So promises may get broken, money or work problems, people having double standards, frustrating person. Okay, so yeah, so all these things can kind of boil up, and it says, be careful not to rush into an affair. What I take from that can be literal, or really, it's this mounting frustration. I would say, be careful not to rush into, don't rush into a distraction that is definitely larger, that isn't easy to walk away from. Okay? So anything that you would feel like throwing yourself into, that may take, a really short time to jump into, but to exit the situation, the action, if this is going to be highly problematic, it. And if it's going to be like maybe costly, so maybe, if money, frustration, if money is a frustration, don't jump into something like try to make quick money, okay? Whether that is through, just don't try to jump into make quick money with a lot of your money, let's put it that way. Or responsibilities, if those feel blurred and you're frustrated with yourself and or someone else, try to not jump into fuck all my responsibilities, for lack of a better, do you know what I'm saying? That's 7. It's interesting. What really comes up for me is give it 7 more days. Like whatever you might feel like jumping on, rushing into, that feels like be like this goddess, okay? Take time to contemplate. This is not Alice in the White Rabbit, okay? This is not sliding down a mysterious hole in the ground and playing in Wonderland. Because once you're in Wonderland, babe, it's going to be real hard to get out. You got a queen chasing you, trying to cut off your head. It's like a whole thing, okay? This lady right here, this goddess, she is in contemplation about her divinity, herself, what is happening inside, her wisdom. And she's on the frickin' moon doing it, okay? So don't be in a rush. This is not Alice in the White Rabbit, all right? 7 days. In fact, 7 days, I think, will take us out of the full shadow phase of this Mercury retrograde. And in 7 more days, probably something else will happen too. But I don't think this is like count to 7, unless when you count to 7, you go, man, I don't want to do anything anymore. I think this is 7 days. So if you are in a rush, if you feel this surge, I would just say, really check in first and foremost with yourself. Where is this urge coming from? Is it coming from a sense of frustration, from betrayal, from a lack of maybe people's behavior? They dish it out, they can't take it. Are you frustrated with just everything in general? And so you're like, fuck it. And you want to, do something. I would say give it 7 days. that's coming from these places, these frustrating places, give it 7 days. Give it 7 days. Okay? And I reference the retrograde. It's like a 2-week before and 2-week after shadow period. And there's a lot of things that can happen, like trickster energy. Okay? A lot of trickster energy going on. That can be, you could easily succumb to, because you're person, I'm person. None of us do everything that feels good or like we're getting it right all the time. But just a little forewarning about that. I would say if it isn't coming from a place, like, you probably sense where it's coming from. Maybe you can't, and that's fine. And maybe you've already jumped into something and you're like putting your blinkers on, trying to back out, and you're like, shit, it's okay. You'll be okay. You're human. We're all human. It's all right. Don't worry about it. But then if you're trying to pile on that decision, maybe go, let me wait 7 days. I'm already trying to get out of this, climb back up that rabbit hole. It's very hard to climb up a tunnel slide made of dirt into an alternate reality. So if you can, 7 days. Okay. Now let's just get a card from here. All right. So all the cards are really coming into yourself. Going inward for these memories. Going inward here. Going inward here. Okay. Where are we going? More CBD. I really love these drinks. I just thought mindful matter, mindful matter, mindful matter. Well, you thought this was a romantic deck, didn't you? So this is the numbers 24, standing alone. Standing alone. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so once again, before we even get into this, okay, so the same kind of solitude, the idea of solitude, getting in with your own wisdom, sensing your own self, looking inward for guidance. So if standing alone, dude's got, wicked outfit on, kick-ass staff, eyes looking upward. So let's take a look. 24. 1 second. Many languages in here. English is the first one. Okay. Good to know. Okay. Ooh, okay. So for this, again, I'm using decks that I don't use all the time. So we have standing alone. I built my house upon the rock. I built my house upon the rock. Again, I'm just getting this theme with Chang-O, who is on that big rock in the sky, like we all are, but on the moon. Okay, so there's different headings that I'm going to read. There's seeing love, making love, being love, and proclaiming love. So let's see how this goes. I think this is going to be a lot about internal wisdom and love. Seeing love, the love story. He had seen so many young fools build their houses upon sand, only to be swept away in the tide as love waned and waxed. They were soon homeless. He wanted a better foundation for his life, himself, his love. And so he built his house upon the rock with security and safety. He archived this by having the courage and wisdom to stand alone. He found wisdom. He found sacred scroll. So standing alone, finding that wisdom, sacred scrolls, that library, our internal wisdom, our internal Akashic records. He found sacred scrolls. He found a mighty staff. But most of all, he found the love within. And this was his foundation for a better tomorrow. Love found him once he found himself. Yep, there's a very definite theme going on here, guys. And yeah, I don't have to tell you, right? It's just repeating itself. Okay. And this is under the heading of making love. Action. Fly solo. Go somewhere alone and enjoy your own company. Whether it's a wild expedition, a little getaway, or even a trip to the grocery store, let that time be yours. Claim it. Make it an odyssey, a journey towards self-love. So we're not jumping down that rabbit hole, we're jumping inward. And if we're going on a little expedition, we're taking ourselves on it. Flying solo, baby. Flying solo. The next heading is being love. Meditation. Imagine yourself on a beach, looking out upon the vast ocean. In this moment, make a pledge to love yourself forever. And you know what else I love about that? Is, the moon controls the tides of the ocean. So when we get into this space of self-knowledge, when we turn towards ourselves for self-love, investing in ourselves, flying solo, we do this meditation, we imagine ourselves on this beach, hear the beach, hear the noises, maybe taste the salt in the air, smell the air. And then we're looking out on this vast ocean and we're promising ourselves to love ourselves forever. Come on, guys, come on. Why? For a broader sense of safety and security. So he's building his house on a rock for a better sense of safety and security. Building his house. Building her house, building their house. Okay? So this is, it could, literal, sure, maybe in your life, I don't know. But, we're talking in metaphor here. Okay. And the last heading is proclaiming love. Affirmation. I love myself. I am wise. I am strong. I love myself. I am wise. I am strong. I think that's a beautiful little story. It's very much about this inward, channeling inward, turning inward, especially because I don't think it's just me that things are popping off, and all those little frustration irks. I was like, I resonate with every single thing. So as a little story reminder here, purple, memories, looking back, okay? Looking at, and again, these aren't bad memories. And I think the idea is you keep going inward. The memories go inward. The contemplation, the wisdom, the self-seeking, the self-knowledge, the library of you. The reason to keep your footing by going in instead of jumping out is because these are good memories. This is the reaching back that's good. It's not a negative thing. It's not a sad, well, maybe, I don't know, if you need to cry about something, cry. It's great. But even if something is sad when you look within, it's not a garbage cycle train of frustration. Seeing, hitting the same wall over and over and over. Seeing the same patterning come up in different relationships. Seeing the same, someone new maybe in your life, or seeing new people double talk. They put it out, they can't take it, and letting yourself get so churned up that the way that, other people can't deal with their things, or aren't being responsible, or acting a certain way, it can start to twist you up a bit, and you can get kind of in this thing where you're like, well, I can't do this either. I can't get this done. I can't get that done. And that can be so destructive mentally, physically. It just feels so binding. So yeah, it's this continuous inward motion, because you are building this beautiful, safe home, okay? But you have to find this sense of love and devotion to yourself in here. You have to go inward, whatever way that means. If there is a language involved, if it's just a bodily thing, if you're just communing with your body, if you're communing with nature, if you're communing with whatever, okay? However, if you're looking at things visually, if you're writing things, but this is really about right now doing this inward journey, going in. And because there's this little magical hair here, I will say, as I was kind of reflecting on it just being this two-sided coin of the story of, this planting of the seeds, right? And then you can't see the seeds, but as you're investing this time in yourself, this fertility, this spring, like the seeds will grow, and you will see what you have been, birthing, what is flowering, what is feeding you, what is growing from this soil. But as much as I'm saying turn inward by yourself, animals are incredible, whether you just watch them out your window, animals, birdies, whatever, or you have some at home. I'm not saying don't spend a ton of time with your animals. You might have one that you think, I always feel like I feel the most myself when I'm with this animal. And I encourage you then to, again, kind of, if it's a certain just species that you watch that. If you have an animal in your home that makes you feel that way, spend time with that animal. Spend more time communing with them and yourself, but just have them around. Involve them in that process if you feel like they are like a touchstone, a part of remembrance. You really feel like you're always brought back to yourself when you're around them. So that's what we did today. I wish everybody a beautiful change in the seasons. I wish everybody wondrous sleep and rest and dreaming and creating. And what was that beautiful affirmation again? Let's read that lovely affirmation of, I love myself. I am wise. I am strong. Okay? And in case you can't say it, I love you. You are wise and you are strong. And until next time.